So hello, folks. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us on Saturday evening. And let me introduce myself. My name is Akhil. I have almost 8 years of experience in product management, and I've been building product space from last 3 to 4 years. I have recently started as doing this full time, and in fact, we've heard that a lot of you get awesome learnings from our workshops. And here's another one, and we'll ensure that you guys at least get a decent overview about like what AI product management is and how to leverage it in your day-to-day role, and how can you become a product manager as well. And definitely good to start on, right? Awesome. Thank you, folks. So now let's get started. I have a couple of questions for you, so we will take that. Thank you, Vinay. We have to do it, right? Otherwise, how would we would have reached out to you, right? Awesome. Thank you. So, all right. So I would just explain you what is it that we're trying to do today. So today we would try to understand, okay, what is a traditional product management, right? And how it is different from AI product management. So there are like multiple AI product management roles. We are trying to cover all of that, and we'll also try to do two relevant case studies, and one today, one tomorrow, and we'll also try covering AI in product strategy as well tomorrow, if you would have enough time, right? So that you have overall holistic view in terms of how this overall domain is changing, right? Now let's get into some of the questions that I have for you. So first question is in 2025, do you think companies will hire more product managers just the way they used to do it like in last couple of years? Or they'll, instead of product managers, they'll just buy tool subscription who would do like similar tasks like product managers? Or companies would hire PMs who know how to leverage AI to do probably 10x, 100x more at the same time? Or there's not going to be any PM hiring, is just like AI engineers are going to take all over it, right? So what is your opinion? What do you think? You can revert with A, B, C, D, whatever you align with. Okay. PMs who knows leverage. Yeah, I think we all are aligned there. In fact, that's where the industry is shifting. And Aishwarya, if you think companies are going to replace PMs with tools, who's going to guide these tools, right? And AI have definitely not reached to a stage wherein it can make intelligent decisions on its own. It still needs human intervention, and that's where the humans are still a lot relevant, right? Awesome, but thanks for sharing your opinion. All right. So now one more question I have for all of you. Let's say if your CEO asked you tomorrow, can you show me how AI can cut time to market for your product launches by 30%, right? Depending on your current AI preparation or AI knowledge, do you think you can confidently answer that in 60 seconds? Okay, let's see that who's answering it. All right. Okay, a couple of folks know it. That's good. Good. Awesome. Thank you, Divya. All right. Not really, right? So we would need, I'm waiting for more folks to answer as well. Not in a perfect way, yes. And I'm sure your CEO would not expect anything less than perfect, right? Awesome. Yeah, I'll cover that, Aman. I think that's what I'm here to. Okay, some of you are clueless. Okay, all right, no worries. I think thanks for sharing that, right? Awesome. So this is before starting this session, right now, I'll share you one Amazon interview, PM interview question, which was asked to a functional product manager, role. I think there was one of my friend who was applying for this role, and he was being asked this question. I'm going to share that question to you. Of course, we are not going to discuss that question right now, but you will get an idea, okay, what type of AI questions are coming in. That's just like 1 out of 1,000 questions or 100 questions. So it's not like everyone just start going to prepare for that. You need like holistic end-to-end preparation to be able to crack those roles, right? But let me at least give you the glance of it, how it is happening in the market. And I can bet that you would not have seen questions like that because they've recently started surfacing, right? So awesome. So this is the question, and we'll not discuss it. I'm just going to leave it for you to think about it, and basically, you can take that call whether you are ready for AI product roles or not. Because see, even if you are applying for traditional product roles, you can't dictate what type of questions could be answered, right? So it's basically the ball is in the hiring manager's court, right? So now let's go ahead. Let me share that question to you. Okay. So the question is, you are a PM on Amazon's order experience team, and your goal is to reduce the number of returned items by identifying which orders are likely to be returned before it happens. So basically, before a customer has made a purchase, right, you have to identify basically would that order be returned or not, right? And how would it help an Amazon order experience team? Simply, if you know that okay, this order is going to be returned, you might not place, let's say, a purchasing order for it because you would already be expecting some inventory back, right? Or you can do a proper resource allocation. So there could be a lot of real life application of like why hiring managers are asking that question, right? So these type of questions are in fact are being asked nowadays in the market, and we'll try to we'll cover one extensive tech focus case study, not today, tomorrow, and that is something is going to give you a lot of idea in terms of how PMs work with machine learning models, the capabilities, right? So now let's move forward, right? I'll not wait for your answers because that's what I was not expecting, but yeah, do think about it. If you had to answer this question, how would you go about solving it, right? Awesome. Now, let me begin this session with this quote. Nowadays, all product managers are AI product managers, right? Why I'm saying that? Because I'm sure you've started using AI in one or the other form. If you're not using AI, if you don't consider yourself, let's say, who has zero exposure in AI, you're already way behind. The market is moving so fast. Just look at the, I would say, speed at which the developments are happening. I think 1 year back we had GPT, and then like we are in agent to agent architecture ecosystem, and there's like a lot of developments are happening, right? So if you are not using AI right now to basically improve your productivity, reduce time to market, to a lot of your work, you're already a lot behind, and definitely you have a need to catch up, and that's what we will try doing today, right? So now let's move forward. In fact, there are a lot of case studies and research that we have noticed coming out in the market, wherein companies like McKinsey have done it, and what they have noticed is like any PM who's implementing Gen AI knowledge or AI knowledge in their day-to-day work, they were able to improve their productivity by more than 50%, right? So that's the kind of change it can bring, and productivity change, in fact, it varies team to team, product to product, which industry you are into, how complex your job is, right? So you can't literally generalize it, but that's fair to say in terms of how much time you used to invest or spend earlier on tasks, that could have been lesser reduced by half or one fourth and all, right? Okay, now let's move forward. Before kind of jumping into like what AI can do for you as a product manager, let's just quickly or briefly understand what AI product management is, right? To understand AI product management, let's go a little bit back in terms of taking references from traditional product management, which simply says that as a product manager, you solve user needs which aligns with business goals, right? That's what PMs do on a regular basis. That's what a traditional product management kind of is designed to do, right? And how AI product management is different, you're just doing the same thing but with the help of AI capabilities, right? So basically you end up solving user needs with AI capabilities, and then of course all these capabilities or solutions that you're implying kind of implementing, they also has to align with business goals. For example, many of you who have used your, let's say, products like Swiggy, right? And if you had talked to this, I think this support kind of feature and all, right, the chatbots and all, right, you would notice that Swiggy has already started giving disclaimer that you're talking to AI, right? And AI can make mistakes. Some kind of disclaimer it'll give you, right? And it feels like almost a human is talking to, right? And a lot of companies are also started implementing kind of AI recommendation engines so that they can improve user experiences, right? So your end goal is same, which is like you're solving user problems, which has to align with business goals, because ultimately it also has to add value to your business, right? But while you're solving these problems, you're leveraging AI capabilities, right? That's what AI product management is, right? Now, before we move to the next, kind of slide when we talk about, let's say, AI development lifecycle, I want to give a quick recap to everyone what product development lifecycle is, right? So I'll just kind of give a quick overview about this. I'll not going to let's say deep dive into it because this specific slide and topic could take let's say 2 hour session with a lot of case studies and all, but we'll not kind of spend time there. Now let's quickly look into this, right? See, product development life cycle basically refers to the process of taking a product from ideation to deployment, right? It generally has like 4 stages. You can also bifurcate into 5 stages as well, but just like for understanding and explanation perspective, I have just kept it to 4 stages as well. So the first stage is ideation and concept development, right? So in this stage, you simply you do the market research, you do the competitor research, you try to identify, what are the emerging future trends, where the market is heading, how can you improve your product, right? Along with that, you also look at a lot of internal data as well. Let's say customer support queries, Play Store reviews. As a product manager, of course, you do a lot of interviews as well, right? And there are other channels like social media feedback and all, right? So you look at all the spectrum that you could kind of get your hands on to understand where the market is going, what are I would say new user expectations as well. And once you are able to do it properly, then that is something which will help you build extensive product backlog. Backlog is nothing but a kind of a list of feature requests or problem statements which are worth solving, right? So once you've done ideation and product discovery, the next step that you do is planning and documentation, right? Planning simply means that you start creating your roadmap, because let's say you've done this product discovery and you've identified 1,000 problem statements or 1,000 feature requests. Definitely you can't go ahead and start building all of it, because you might run out of resources, and you definitely don't want to build features which are not going to impact, let's say, more than 0.1% of the users, right? You definitely want to pick problems which are going to, let's say, create to the majority of the users first, along with it should also add value to the business, right? So once you've done the discovery, the next step is prioritization, which further leads to roadmap creation and all, right? So once you've created your roadmap, you would probably lay out your different feature requests in different weeks that you would be launching, and depending on your tech bandwidth and all. And once you've decided, okay, this is a feature or this is a problem I need to solve first, the next step that you do is that you start creating product requirement document. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, right? And PRD is nothing but wherein it could be for an extensive product as well, it could be for a functionality as well, it could be for one specific feature as well, right? So the purpose of the PRD is to detail out what feature you want your designers and engineers to build. It has like everything related to why you're solving, why this problem is important, what was context, user personas, use cases, user stories, functional requirements, like which is a bunch of long list and all, right? And why you in fact create PRD as well, for a very simple reason. See, as a product manager, you work with a lot of stakeholders, right? Including design, engineering, QA, marketing, compliance, strategy. There's like whole, I would say, long list depending on the industry and the company you are into, right? So every time when someone else is doing their job, right, definitely you can't keep running to different teams to explain it, right? So PRD basically then becomes one source of truth, right? That all the team then relies on, okay, this is something which has come from product manager and we have to work on it, right? Once that PID has kind of been finalized, then you give it to designers, right? So designers basically creates the wireframes, they create the prototypes basically. Once this feature goes live, right? So how would it look, right? And what would the final layout would be? How would the end user going to experience this feature or a solution that you're implementing, right? Once the design is created, of course, there are a lot of iterations happens in between. If there are feedbacks coming from different teams, and once the feedback is catered and worked upon, then it is being assigned to engineers, right? Once it is assigned to engineers, then they of course start giving life to this specific feature or requirement. And once the development is done, then it is being sent to testing. There are generally two type of testing. One is SIT and UAT. Don't worry about these short forms, but for your understanding, I can say that product managers do more of functional testing, and QAs, right, quality analysts, they generally do kind of end-to-end testing, including regression testing and whole sorts of kind of checks they do before launching that feature in the market. Because you definitely don't want 1,000 users, 1 lakh users coming and complaining, hey, this button is not working, I'm not able to do anything in this feature and all. You don't want that experience, right? That's where you go ahead and do a thorough testing. Once the testing is done, Then you do the deployment in the market, right? And when I talk about the deployment, you don't go ahead and deploy your features to like 100% of the users, right? If you're a startup who has like 1,000 customers only, then of course you might take that risk because you would have been validated your features a lot of times. But if you are, let's say, a B2C company which has like more than 1 million customers and all, you start releasing, deploying your features in phase-wise manner, right? Let's say you initially deploy it like for 1% of the users, then 5% of the users, 10% of the users, right? So that's how it happens, right? And once you deploy it in the market, at even of course different phases as well, you also then collect feedback from the existing customers in terms of okay, what their experience is with that feature. Is that feature actually end up solving the problem for which it was designed, right? So that's in a nutshell looks like a product development life cycle. That's how traditional product managers used to work, right? Now I'm going to take a quick pause and I'm going to take any questions if anyone has, right? So I could see that a lot of chats are moving across. I think, okay, you guys are exchanging LinkedIn. That's good to know. I'm sure everyone are there on the WhatsApp group. Will be opening up there. You can connect. Okay, now let's take a quick pause. If anyone has any questions, we can take questions. Is PRD only PM's responsibility? PRD basically, see, it depends. Like, if you're working, let's say, with product analysts as well, if you're working with APMs, you're working with interns, right? But ultimately, it's a responsibility of a product team, right? What about SOPs for the product? At what steps it is created? Standard operating procedures. It depends. Like, not all features have SOPs. Generally, they are more for supply chain or backend products, right? In terms of how you should use it. Yes, Sai. That's why I'm going slow. I've taken a quick pause. I've just so far explained what AI product management is and what traditional product management, product development lifecycle looks like, right? And then I'll go ahead further. I'll just wait for 2 more minutes to handle any more questions if there are. Okay, the WhatsApp link didn't work, so I'll just also request the team to share it as well, but don't worry, we'll exchange it. All right, I'll just look into one more question if anyone has. Okay, can a non-tech B-tech guys also become a... Okay, so folks, I would request you ask questions on something which has been already covered right now. Yeah, and I would request everyone to please write your questions in the chat only. I'll just wait for 1 more minute for the answers for the questions. Can you please show the slide of the Amazon question? Yeah, you can take a screenshot. I'll just go back. Yeah, but how many screenshots you would take, right? This is just one question. Okay. Yeah, video sucks. I'm really sorry, Kazmi. I hope my audio is clear. You're able to make sense what I'm trying to say. Okay, so tell me the importance of functional requirements. Okay, we are not in the product documentation session, Aman. Functional requirement is just to help your stakeholders understand in terms of how your users can act or engage with the product. Non-functional or technical requirements is for more for software engineers and all. All right, can you take real world examples for product discovery? Yeah, we're going to take it. We're going to do 0 to 1 product building in this session, right? So don't worry about that. All right, awesome. I think there's a lot of questions, right? Folks, if your questions won't be able to answer, I would request you can also ask that in the WhatsApp group. Now I'll go ahead and move further in this session, right? Awesome, thanks folks. Thanks for all the questions. I will now go ahead and cover, okay. All right, okay. Now what we're going to do is like we're going to see how AI is changing the dynamics for product managers, right? So I think some of you asked, okay, can we do real product discovery as well, right? So I'm going to show you 2 to 3 tools which I think you can also use to do product discovery, right? And I'm also going to share a prompting library that you guys can refer to build that 0 to 1 product, right? So let me start with that. See, product discovery largely have, if you just put it into 3 buckets, right? One is like primary research, secondary research, and data analysis, right? We're going to explore I think 2 to 3 different tools wherein we could do all that, right? See, nowadays the challenge with existing PMs in terms of doing the primary research is that you can't literally talk to, if you're, let's say, a product manager at Flipkart, right? You can't talk to 10,000 customers, right? Because as long as you don't talk to that much volume, you will not have enough sample size to make sense of the insights that you'll get, let's say, from 100 users, right? So now we have seen there are like a lot of AI voice agents have also come in, which could talk on behalf of a product manager. In fact, let's say 2,000 customers, 10,000 customers, like in 1 to 2 days or a week's time frame, right? So your primary research have also kind of been done. I think at a scale also you can do it as well, right? Secondary research also you can do, right? So now let me share my screen. I'll share you a couple of tools that you can look into to do secondary research. Just give me 1 second. Okay, sharing my screen. Just give me 1 second. Sharing a tool that I think you can use for secondary research, right? This is one tool, and I'm okay. My internet is a little slow. All right, yeah. Here we go. So this is the tool basically. Okay, it asked me to log in again. I'll go ahead and log in again. All right. You'll see that, okay, how PMs can leverage AI to do product discovery, right? So this tool basically, helps you, do discovery on various topics. Let's say you want to do a market research, you want to do, let's say, company research or any specific topic research, right? SWOT analysis, right? So now let's try to go for any specific company. Let's go for which company you want to go for. We're talking about Flipkart, right? So let's go ahead for Flipkart, and we just have to give this much, right? The company information, and this tool would do the rest of it, right? I have 3 credits remaining, so now let's wait for it to respond. Okay, in the meantime, just for all of you to understand, I've also created an AI voice agent, which does primary research as well, right? So I'm going to do a live calling from this agent. This agent is going to talk to me, and I'm going to talk about my experience as well, right? So if anyone of you wants to talk to this agent, you might have to drop your number in the chat. I'm not sure you're comfortable, but it's okay if you're not comfortable. I will do that demo. Don't worry. So you could see that, right? You've just kind of given this information, okay, company name, and this tool is giving you. If you'd have wanted this output from GPTs and all, you'd had to give a super exhaustive prompt and all, right? So you could look into, right? It has kind of shared everything in a detailed way. It has also given a references. You can also find some case studies here as well, or different you can see this, right? Flipkart winning strategy and all, right? So this is one tool that you can use for, let's say, secondary research, right? But I'll also be sharing when we'll be building that 0 to 1 product from scratch, right? I'm going to share an exhaustive prompt, which can also be used to run on Perplexity or GPT or Gemini as well, right? Now, beyond it, now what we this is one way to do secondary research, right? Now I'm going to share you how can I use this specific tool. This tool name is Power Drill, right? So you can use it to do a data analysis, right? So what I'm going to do is, okay, it was asking me to do a login again. Let me quickly finish login. All right, I'm back here. So what we have to do is, like, you can basically see whatever data analysis you want to do, you have to upload your files here, right? For this time, basically for the sessions purpose, of course, I don't have any time. So I'm going to use this public data sets from here. So let's say which data set we want to pick. Retail inventory data. Okay, let's try picking this, right? So you can also, okay, so this data set contains 73,000 rows of retail inventory data, including date, store ID, product ID, all this, right? Okay, so I'm just going to ask it, okay, can you summarize what all information do we have in the attached data set? Right, so what it'll do is, like, it'll start creating those SQL queries, and it'll run and then try to make sense of it. Okay, so you can see that, okay, this data set provides a comprehensive view of retail store inventory. Okay, and you can also ask, okay, can you give me the SKUs which are basically with zero inventory, right? You want to know that, right? So you can ask it as well. Okay, sorry, I think it went somewhere else. Okay. No out of stock products found, right? So basically you can upload the data set. You can literally ask any questions that you would want to, and it'll basically try to understand, what your query is and would get the relevant information from the data. So you can also use the specific tool. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to try that voice agent, which does primary research, right? So now let me share my screen for that. And okay, I'll keep my phone with me. I should get a call. Okay. I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what it is. How does it work? Okay. I hope my screen is visible. Okay. But I think on this product, I was also doing a research on Swiggy, right? So you could see that, right? Such an extensive report that it has created on Swiggy, right? So we can download it. Otherwise, like if you're not using this tool or these kind of ecosystems, you'd have to, let's say, go through 1,000 probably websites to get this much information. It has literally everything, from food operations to inventory management to, the Swiggy Instamart, right? So it's an extensive reported cave, right? So, and it also shows the reasoning, okay, how did it come to this final outcome, right? So you see it, whatever is available on internet as an open source, right? This would get you that information. Okay, oh, you can see it, right? So I'm not, of course, there's no point reading it, but I'm just trying to showcase it to you. You can use these tools to get extensive data as well, right? Now, this is the agent that I have created, which does the voice, which act as a kind of voice agent, right? So now let's see that if I get a call or not. Let's wait for me to get a call. Okay, workflow executed. I should get a call. I'm still not getting it, so I'm just waiting it why it's not coming. I'll wait for it. Let me just check. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. And the call went to someone else, I believe. Yes. Call went to someone else. Okay, call went to her. Okay, I have to change that. Oh, I was basically doing a testing with the team, so that's why I was thinking why I'm not getting a call. I'll just probably change my name. Okay, now I should get a call. Okay. Okay. Now it has taken my details. Yes, taken my details. I should get a call now. Yeah, you could see that, right? I put it on silent, but I'm getting a call, from this voice agent. I hope everyone can. I hope everyone. Okay, this is not coming. I'm getting a call from my voice agent only, right? So I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to put it on speaker. Yeah. All right. Hello. Am I speaking with Akhil? Yes, Dheeraj, you're speaking with me. May I know what the call is about? Great. Thanks for confirming, Akhil. Just to quickly recap, I'm Dheeraj from Flipkart's product team. We're reaching out to a few customers like you to understand your shopping experience, what's working well, and where we can improve. It will just take about 5 minutes. Does that sound good to you? If you're ready, we can get started. Yeah. I think we can go ahead. I'm not sure about 5 minutes, but I can give you some quick seconds. Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you, Akhil. I'll keep it brief. To start, could you share how often you use Flipkart for shopping and what kinds of products you usually purchase? Yeah, so I use it like once a month or once every 2 months, and I have recently bought a couple of shirts, and my experience, to be honest, is not that great. You guys have promised that I'll get it in like the same day, but I have got it like 3 days late, and it's like no one informed me. It's really a bad experience. Thank you for sharing that, Akhil. I'm really sorry to hear about the delay and lack of communication regarding your order. It sounds frustrating, especially when you were expecting same-day delivery. Could you tell me a bit more about what happened? So you guys have promised like, I'll get it same day, but I didn't get it. So that's what happened. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying, Akhil. I understand how disappointing it is when delivery promises aren't met,
especially without any update.
But I'm thinking to go an extra mile and put a bad review on the social media platforms, because I'm really not happy with the experience. And thanks for calling, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you for being honest, Akhil. I completely understand your frustration, and I'm really sorry for the inconvenience you faced. Your feedback is important, and I'll make sure to.
So you understood, right? Yeah, I could have gone and had a further long conversation as well, but I wanted to share it with you that, with AI now you can do a lot more, right? And that's just like in discovery only. I'll just go ahead and share my slides again. Yeah, so we have seen, okay, how can you leverage AI in the right way to do, kind of primary research. You can also leverage it to do secondary research. You can also leverage it to do, of course, data analysis, can draw insights from the data. You can also do, I would say, a lot of competitor research. You can keep always a tab at the competition. So in fact, like whenever they are doing something, whenever they're releasing something, you can create some agents which are giving you information about your, let's say, top 3 competitors, the very first hour you start your office at, right? So you can of course do a lot more with AI. We would not go about building AI agents in this workshop specifically or a crash course. Let's come back to the session, right? Okay, this is one use case. Second use case is how it is also helping changing the workplace dynamics or the stakeholder dynamics. So how earlier things used to happen, let's say as a product manager, you have created a PRD and then you call for a meeting with the relevant stakeholders, right? Hey, I have created this, PRD for this feature, and I think let's go ahead and brainstorm on it. And I'm looking for hearing your ideas and all, right? First, it takes a lot of time to PRD on your own. Depending on the task, it could take 1 day, it could take 3 days, 7 days, a month as well, depending on it's a small feature or a full-fledged product and all, right? And then convincing the stakeholders, right, and expecting them to read that document end to end, and also then of course 50% of them going to shoot down your ideas, right? So how to defend it, right? So instead of going and presenting with your PRDs, you can present with your prototypes, right? Wherein you can safely say that a prototype is worth more than 1,000 meetings, right? Because you don't have to, let's say, run around every time, because once you start doing a lot of meetings, a lot of ideas are also get lost in those communications, right? If you have something presentable, which is like communicating your ideas really well, you can convince them, you can take their feedback positively, and can do, let's say, live iteration as well, right? So that's what basically happening in workplaces now. It is also helping in productivity improvement across the value chain. When I say across the value chain, I mean that not across product managers, but also across like analysts, engineers, designers. Designers can leverage a lot of AI tools nowadays, and these AI tools can really help. In terms of, let's say, giving the base level designs and all. Once you have the base level designs, it's basically very easy to build on it, right? So now we'll go ahead, and in fact, engineers, if you talk about, right, they literally used to take 7 days or I would say 2 weeks time to complete a sprint, right? Because they're writing every single line of code. Now with AI coming in, they'll be able to write like all those line of codes probably in 1 day, 2 day, depending on the complexity of the feature. All they have to do is just like validate and ensure that everything is as per the expectations and all, right? So it is definitely helping a lot in productivity improvement. Yeah, there's a downside of it as well, resource trimming. Recently, I've been speaking to a lot of product leaders, right? And what insights that I'm getting is like we might not have a lot of roles. So for example, right now, the pod, which is like a mini product management teams within a specific company, have like 10 to 12 members, 1 or 2 product managers, including analyst or intern. One is PM, is a senior one who's leading it. And then like 5 to 6 engineers and 1 to 2 QAs, 1 to 2 designers as well, right? At least for QAs, the companies are now expecting the developers to do that job with the help of AI automation softwares and all, right? That's one change that we are observing happening across the industry. And if you also look at earlier, you needed 5 to 6 engineers to do a certain job. If you have AI, if AI is really adopting as per your requirements, I think all that job could also be done by like 2 to 3 engineers as well, right? So that's where the change is coming. If that change is coming, of course, it also gives power to companies to do more with existing resources. So instead of laying off people, they can also take a decision to, let's say, pick more projects, right? But you can't just pick projects for the sake of picking it. You need to have it as well, right? So, all right. And the last point is like no more bandwidth crunch. I'll tell you a real story. One of our colleague, Palash, I think he's also a mentor at product space. He is a director of product at Dream 11, and he wanted to build a gaming feature. He wanted to do it for an experimentation purpose, and he has went to his engineering team with the idea, and they have shut down it. Hey, saying that hey, we don't have time. We can pick it probably 2 to 3 months down the line, right? And of course, Palash have upskilled a lot himself in terms of AI and all. So he said, okay, that's fine. So what he did is like he built a full stack gaming product, right? Launched it in the market, got the traction of 10,000 users in a week's time. And then their engineers were saying, hey, are you guys planning to take our jobs as well or not, right? So that is the potential and the capability this domain provides you, right? And so basically in this sense we can definitely say AI has become a true co-pilot, or it is in that direction to go for it, right? Now let's take a quick pause. If anyone has any questions, please drop in the chat. I will take 1 or 2 questions and then we move ahead, right? Okay. Coding of AI agent was done by employing no vibe coding. So see, in product space, we don't build or we don't train superficially. I'm going to talk about it when I talk about the type of PMs in upcoming slides. I think you can do it if you have to go for org purposes. I don't think it makes sense having tools for everything. If you know and if you understand how LLMs and AI work end to end, you would not need kind of these multiple tools. They are for AI enabled PMs. I'm going to talk about it as we go along, so you'll understand the difference as well. Okay, can you share the agent details also? Devendra, yeah, Devendra, we'll talk about it separately, this is not in the agenda of the session. Is this made with Lovable? No. Okay. I don't know why everyone is in the rush in figuring out. Okay. We'll do a proper session. In fact, we have done as well in the past. How can you create your own voice agent as well? So we'll have another one if required. So solve a case study in live so that it could help many of us. Yes, we will do it. We'll start talking about the case study from 7 p.m. Okay. As a PM without any tech background, okay, all right. Which tools are used? Okay, I think I'm not sure anyone has questions related to what we just talked about, but all your questions are interesting now. Okay, now let's move forward in the flow, right? Now let's talk about these type of PMs which are like emerging nowadays in the market. But to understand the type of PMs, let me first cover 3 stages of Gen AI upskilling or learning, or how well versed you are with it. So first stage is crawling, right? So crawling simply means that you just know Gen AI at a tool level. You'd be aware about Gemini, you'd be aware about Midjourney, you'll be aware about like PowerTrail, AI Smarties, right? You've just been using AI at a superficial level, right? So all the PMs who are at a crawling stage, right? You can very comfortably call yourself AI powered PMs, right? Why I am saying that? Because you've already started leveraging AI into your product lifecycle, right? Although you've not gone to the technical depth yet, right? But you already started leveraging AI potential, at least improving productivity or reducing time to market and all, right? So that is what you can call yourself as, I would say, crawling stage in generative AI, or AI powered PMs, if you want to give it a fancy name, right? The other type of PMs who know AI can further be categorized into another 2 categories, which is like applied AI PMs, and another is AI tech PMs, right? So but before I talk about this, you need to understand another 2 stages of generative AI upskilling. So after crawl, the next stage is walk. So walking means that you understand all about AI ecosystem. You understand how LLMs work. You understand what are type of LLMs. You understand agentic AI. You understand all those frameworks like LangFlow, LangChain, Crew AI, AutoGen, right? So you understand the entire AI ecosystem, right? But you might not be, let's say, at a building machine learning side of it, right? So, and that is something, once you have that technical depth, then you can call yourself as, you have crossed crawl stage, and now you are comfortably at walk stage, right? And from walking to run is a stage wherein you start working on ML models, or Gen AI models as well, wherein you start working on the parameters, improving accuracy of these models and all. And also you are deploying at, I would say, at enterprise scales as well, right? So from there, I'll just quickly summarize. AI powered PMs are the PMs who are working on tools. Probably, let's say, you're working with Lovable, Bolt, ChatGPT, and all those type of tools. AI PMs, let's first talk about these. So these are the PMs. If I talk about, applied AI product managers, right? So applied AI product managers simply means that you are using existing ML models or existing generative AI models in your product lifecycle. So for example, if you go and check for Swiggy has already implemented, let's say, one of the chat-based LLM, and this chat-based LLM, what it does simply is it helps kind of to interact with customers, solve queries in a human language and all, right? Let's say you want to build kind of a model which, like, wherein you take the image of any shirt and it gives you a relevant searches and all, right? So these are the applied AI PMs who are already deploying the existing available models in the market, right? So if you're doing that, if you're not going to the, let's say, the depth of working on models, you can call yourself as applied AI PMs, right? And these are the PMs who are going to be most in demand, and the number of PMs are going to be a lot, right? And the reason for these number of PMs are going to be a lot because not every company is going to go ahead and start building their own LLMs, right, or own SLMs, right? It is practically not possible because there's like a lot of infrastructure cost and it's not scalable as well, right? So now the last type of PM is AI tech PM. So these are the PMs who are working at a model side, right? Working at a model side, like, they're working on transformers. They are, let's say, working as a product manager at ChatGPT, right? Or working as a product manager and Gemini, right? Or with Midjourney and all, wherein you're directly working with data scientists to define how should your model be, right? And how can you, build a specific model to solve a certain problem and all, right? So these PMs are very less in numbers, right? But these are the PMs which are going to be, I would say, a lot in abundance. Everyone is going to be falling in this bucket because AI has already become part of our daily life cycle, right? So I hope that makes sense to everyone in terms of the differences. Awesome. All right. Now let's move further and let's talk about AI development life cycle. All right. So I'll go ahead. See, AI development lifecycle has like 4 stages. So this lifecycle basically begins with problem definition. So when I talk about problem definitions, I mean, like, what is the objective, right? What are the requirements of this AI solution that you want to build? So first you need to clearly define what is the problem scope, and you also have to define boundaries. You also have to define what is in scope, what is out of scope as well, right? Along with this, when you are in the problem definition stage, you also have to define the success criteria, which means, like, once your model is able to achieve or reach a specific threshold, you can consider, okay, this model is working well and it is giving probably outcomes as per the expectations, right? Once you have defined your problem, the second stage is data collection, right? I think within step one only, right? So because you can't train a model if you don't have the data, right? So data collection can happen from external sources, from internet, from third-party service providers, or from public data sets. Or you can also look at your internal data sources because you'd have a lot of data about your users' usage patterns as well, right? So while you are doing this data collection, assessing the quality of the data collection is very, very important and critical, because if your data is like garbage, so it's basically garbage in and garbage out, right? So you also have to ensure that whatever data you are collecting, it has the required quality to be trained on the model, right? Okay, once you've collected the data, then the next step is data preparation. So what I mean by data preparation is simply you would get like data from multiple resources, and it might be, let's say, scattered across parameters and all. So you have to clean the data, you have to remove the null values, right? Or if required, you might also need to increase the size of your data artificially as well, so that it is like it is within that required volume for your model to learn from it, right? Plus, if you're doing supervised machine learning or you're working on supervised algorithms, then you can also consider doing data labeling as well, right? So of course, some of these terminologies you might not understand. That is why understanding of the AI knowledge would be required as you go along. I'll also tell you before I probably kind of, okay, I think that is something I've covered in the next slide as well. Basically, what all skill sets are required for PMs, I'll cover it, okay? So now we have so far talked about, okay, clear problem definition and data collection, data preparation. This is more of an AI development lifecycle pipeline looks like, right? Once you have kind of done the data preparation, then the next step is model selection. So this is where we select the kind of machine learning model which is most appropriate for handling the specific task at hand. For example, as I mentioned, right, if you want to build a chatbot, you can also build a chatbot with LLMs, plus you can also build a chatbot with natural language processing as well, right? So if you don't have an extensive use case, you go ahead and rely on the deep learning models and all, right? Let's say if you want to predict inventory or upcoming sales, so if you want to predict something, you can then think of going for regression models or forecasting models and all, right? If you want to, let's say, go for pattern detection and all, you can go for CNNs, which are convolutional neural networks and all, right? Or if you want to build a model which generates something, right, then you can go for these transform architectures, or that's something we call it as it as LLMs as well, right? So this is what the AI development lifecycle looks like. Once you've done the model selection, then the next step is training. So in training, basically, you train your algorithm or a model on the data that you've already prepared, right? So that your model can learn from the data, can help you accurately predict for the expected output, right? So once your model is trained, the next step is like you try to see that, okay, how much accurate your model is. You try to kind of do different type of learnings as well, let's say human in the loop, reinforcement learning and all, right? And once the model is giving the expected output, then you are deploying it in the production. And of course, your job is not over once you've deployed in production as well. You have to also do continuous monitoring as well, because there's decent chance that your model can underfit or overfit with the training data that you've provided, right? So you have to ensure that your model is not biased. One more very important point I want to cover is in AI, understanding the implications of ethics is very, very important. And I'm sure many of you, I'm not saying all of you, have ignored ethics as a chapter in our bachelor's or master's, right? But at least in AI, it is extremely critical. I'll tell you how it is critical. Let's say you have built a machine learning model or a large language model, and you've built it for a health tech company, right? And one of the user comes and says that, and just let's assume that this user is quite mentally stressed and says that, hey, can you tell me which story I should jump so that I'll die, right? So your model should not answer because it's generative in nature. If you give it a task, it will do it. It'll start generating the best possible. It'll look into the data of all the buildings wherein people have jumped and they have died successfully, right? So it'll start generating this information. But you don't want your model to answer these questions. You want your model to handle these questions in an empathetic way, right? So this is something which is known as responsible AI, right? So before you deploy your AI models in the market, you also have to understand the implications in society, and you also have to understand whether your model is biased towards a certain data or a demographic or a cohort or not, right? So there are like a lot of considerations one has to go through, and that's what AI product managers do day in, day out, right? And all right, now I think we would have, this is the last slide, and after this we'll start doing two case studies. Of course, we'll not be able to cover both these case studies today. We'll cover one of it today, one of it tomorrow. And tomorrow also we will talk about AI in product strategy, right? Okay. Now let's talk about required skills for PM. The skill, as I mentioned, is machine learning and Gen AI knowledge, right? Okay, let me give you one thought before I explain about why that is important. Okay, so let's take a situation, and I'm sure many of you are already PMs. So the folks who are PMs, I'm sure you're working with engineers, right? If you're working with engineers and you understand what backend is, what front end is, what APIs are, what SQL is, what cloud is, you understand what engineers do. Although you might not be understanding coding, but that's okay. You don't have to understand that, right? Just because you understand engineering really well, you're able to collaborate with engineers properly, right? And they're also able to hear you. They're able to take instructions from you. You guys are going to work. You are able to work together really well, right? Now, if you become an applied AI product manager or a tech AI PM, powered is anyway, everyone's going to be a powered PM, right? So it's not a new or I would say a promotion or a growth, right? It's like a organic movement which will anyway happening or will happen as well, right? So if we are going to talk about PMs who are going to work with AI, definitely you're going to work with data scientists. If you're working with data scientists and a data scientist is coming in saying that, okay, the ROC curve or precision, recall, accuracy, top P, top K, all, if they start floating these data science terminology towards you and you don't understand it, and you are expecting your data scientist to basically, explain everything to you every time. just imagine how frustrating would that be, right? Because and first of all, as a PM, you're expected to lead something, right? How can you lead something if you don't understand that science or that knowledge or that domain, right? So that is why if you want to become AI PMs, I think, either applied AI PMs or tech AI PMs, right? It's very, very important and must have to have machine learning and Gen AI knowledge, right? Plus, this is an emerging domain within generative AI, which basically gives you a capability to build autonomous systems, right? And these systems work, without any interventions unless they're designed like that, right? And they can really be helpful in reducing a lot of your tech bandwidth, and a lot of work can also be done by building the right AI agents as well. So in this AI ecosystem, if you don't know how to build single agent system, multi-agent system, Langflow, LangChain, all these enterprise grade terminologies and their applications, it's going to be really tough surviving, right? And I'm trying to be brutal here because 2 or 3 days back, IBM has laid off 8,000 employees. I can be wrong, but this is what I could recall, right? Microsoft 6 months back, or within the last 6 months duration, have laid off roughly 10,000, 12,000 members. And they're planning another round of layoff probably in November. But that's not official news. I've just heard from some of the platforms out there. So nowadays layoffs are going to be common, right, across years, months as we go along, right? It's just about how much can you make yourself relevant in this ecosystem, right? If you could upskill fast, if you could add value fast, then of course you will be able to move further. All right, so that's it I had from a kind of theory point of view, in terms of giving all of you an overview in terms of how AI is kind of creating impact in product management, or how product management is changing with AI, right? So that is something I wanted to cover. Now we will move to case study. Before moving to case study, let's take a quick pause, and if anyone has any questions on something that we have talked about, please write your questions in the chat. I'll quickly take a sip of water in the meantime. And now the case study that we're going to do is we're going to basically build a product from scratch. And we're going to use these tools, which all of you are quite familiar with. 6 months roadmap. Abhinav, not in the scope today. Okay, 6 months roadmap is very simple. First, plan your upskilling roadmap. We also have 2 programs. You can check on our website. I can share the URL of the website and see which one fits best for you. If you don't want to go for, let's say, any paid programs and all, it's going to be difficult. And the reason for it is going to be difficult because no free program is going to give you an in-depth structure or the required knowledge. They're always going to be at an application level or at a surface level, right? Okay, so does it require to know the complete? Yes, but not. I don't think machine learning and deep learning you need to know at super technical depth, but you should know what this entire domain is, right? And if you don't know machine learning and deep learning, how would you know generative AI? If you're expecting yourself to know generative AI without the traditional AI, you are basically preparing yourself for a superficial, AI PM, and that's going to kind of hit back hard, because even many of you probably might not be aware about it, but what LLMs are doing, they're generating something, right? So generation is not something which has only made possible with GPTs, right? Before GPTs, also generation was happening, right? RNNs were doing it, LSTM models were doing it, right? But they had their limitations, right? So because of those limitations, we have seen accidental birth of LLMs. Yes, it's an accidental birth. If you understand the true story of how transform architecture have come up, you'll understand, right? Because if Google would have known the true potential of it, like in 2017, for sure it would not have released this paper in public domain. Awesome. Which is like attention is all you need, research paper. Awesome. Okay. I'm a okay. Anyone who's interested in our course, we will be sharing you the feedback form. You can show your inclination there, because this is not the right forum to talk about the program right now, because I think we have like 500 plus folks learning together. So, but anyone of you are interested, we can take, or you can, apply from website. There's a waitlist going on. Okay. All right. Is it like PMs? Guys should definitely have some knowledge about all the IT. Yes. Nowadays, I think we are moving in that ecosystem. Before jumping in, can you just recall all the name of topics Name of topics we have discussed till now. Okay, we have talked about product development life cycle. We have talked about um, AI development life cycle. We've also talked about how AI, how PMs can leverage AI in the right way, and they can improve their productivity by 10x, 100x. We've talked about that, and we've also talked about a couple of, I think, one interview question as well, right? And we have seen the demo of some of the product discovery tools, including a voice agent that we have built. In fact, we teach in our programs that is more of a single agent system, but we work and showcase like more than I would say 5 to 6 single and multi-agent systems as well. Yes, machine learning is really mandatory. Yes, it is mandatory, but you don't need to learn to design models, right? You need to have a really clear roadmap in terms of how much to know, right? And that's where the science is like, because if you start learning everything in AI, it'll take years to learn it, right? So, but not everything is required. Okay, I'll take final question. Okay, I'll share the website link for the course. It is, yes, you can go to the courses section. As a mechanical engineer, how can I adapt AIPM? Is powered AIPM enough? No, I don't think powered AIPM is going to be enough. They are AI powered PMs are always going to be late adopters, right? And they are the folks who are just probably relaxing and waiting for the right time to, or waiting for the market to hit them. Because if you are part of the companies who are having no plans to, let's say, integrate AI into your product roadmap, then you're set for life if you want to make your career in that company. But as I'm seeing, all the tech first companies, they've already adopted AI in their roadmap, and that's like a lot of PMs already have started working on it, right? So awesome. So I think, yeah, let's go ahead and let's talk about building it. There's a lot of questions. Yes. You from BB also you can pursue product management. There's no guardrails to it that you can't become a product manager, right? All right, folks. I'm going to now go ahead and okay. This is prompt library I have. I'll share it with you as well. Okay. So, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to build a food tech product, right? Probably, by taking inspiration from Swiggy, Instamart, or sorry, not Instamart, Swiggy, Zomato, right? These or Uber Eats as well, right? So we're going to build, product from scratch. Plus, we're going to follow the entire product development life cycle. Okay, so you guys can follow me on the screen, right? And I'll keep switching those screens as we go along, right? And I'll go ahead and let me open the ChatGPT. I'm going to work with ChatGPT only. By now, I'm sure all of you have understood these are LLMs, right? Either you use ChatGPT or you use Perplexity. At the back end of it, there are specific specialized text-based LLMs which are operating on it, right? So okay, the first step is finding ideas, right? So as a product manager, right, when you would want to, let's say, make AI really your co-pilot, right, the first thing you would do is like you'll work with it to explore ideas, and that's what I am going to do now, right? So okay, so this is more of a a stage wherein I go ahead and I talk about. Let me once again finding ideas, right? So I'm right now going blank, and let's see what it is. Okay, so I want you to help me come up with ideas in food tech industry that will help consumers get an additional, okay, uh, um, let's say additional option in terms of selecting uh, another food tech company. Okay, and it should solve the challenges faced by users while using existing players like Sony. Okay. Can you please? Okay. So whenever I ask, I never give it a only close-ended prompt. I always give it a more of a open-ended prompt so that, and I always make a point that you don't imagine a lot of things, right? Before imagining, you ask me a lot of questions if you don't have a clarity. So let's do it. Let's see what happens. Got it. So I'll treat this as okay, now it has given me these many questions, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer it. Okay. Anyone of you who wants to build it along with me, what I can also do is, at least in this chat, I can keep dropping the prompts. Okay. You can also parallelly build along with me if you want to. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to answer these questions. Okay, first question from your perspective, what are the biggest frustrations? Okay, I am not sure we can do product discovery in upcoming conversations to figure out user problems. Based on my experience, exorbitant charges are quite concerning. When to end users and huge commissions for restaurants as well. Okay. Target segment, yeah, let's go for urban folks. So there's be an app. So this new app will be restaurant food delivery focused, or you open to open to ideas, open to considerations. Okay. Want to differentiate mainly not sure. Based on product discovery, we can define value propositions. And it's okay if, okay, I think I missed some questions, but that's okay. Let it see. All right, perfect, thanks. You're basically saying we are early in discovery, known issues, high user charges, this is fine. Urban users, summarize it well. Now let's go one layer deeper with exploratory questions. Okay, so it's asking me a lot of questions, but ideally in this workshop, we don't have a time. So I'll go ahead and say that, okay, you go ahead and pick the best answers. Ideally, when you're doing it as a product manager, you don't do this pump and dump, right? You go ahead and interact properly and make sense. The more context you'll give it, the more relevant your output is going to be, right? So now let's move to the stage. Okay. We will share the prompt. Anyway, I've dropped it in the chat, but after the session as well, we'll be sharing the detailed prompting library as well. Okay, so now, okay. Would you like me to propose? Okay, now it has given me the answer. Consolidate customer side pain points, restaurant side. Okay, so this is something it has given me, right? And a fair restaurant. This is the opportunity space right now comes in. Okay, now the next stage is to do a product discovery. So this is my extensive discovery prompt. Okay, I am going to copy paste this, and I'm going to also drop this in your chat so that you can copy it and run it as well if parallel if you want to. Next, I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll run this prompt, right? So let me also, explain you what this is and why I've written such extensive prompt, right? Because see, if I'll ask GPT only to think, so if you know how LLMs work, you'll never make that mistake. You'll never make the mistake of, kind of letting GPTs or LLMs take that first bet, right? Because ultimately they're just predicting the next word. It's probabilistic in nature. You don't want your product and ideas to rely on certain probabilities, right? I always use GPT for execution purpose, but the mind map or thinking is something I still do because that's what PM are known for, right? Awesome. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough of this, right? So I've given it a context, right? You're assisting a product manager building a modern AI product, AI powered food tech product. Okay. And all these things I've written. Plus, I've asked it to wear the hat of market research analyst and Gen Z consumer behavior expert, focus on Indian food tech. All right. And I've also given it like what to do, right? I've not left anything for chances, right? I've asked it to look for popular players and categories, which food tech apps and startups, right? Consider categories, food, all these things will do. Also figure out what features do Gen Z users love in food apps, right? Top complaints and feature gaps, right? And also I've mentioned UX and design expectations as well, right? So when I've given this prompt, right, it's still doing it. The better way to do it is like you go here and you can click on deep research and then you run it. I've not run it with deep research because it is going to take a lot of time to do that. But I think let's go for it. Let's see how it is doing this deep research. Also good to know that. Okay, I'm going to stop this thread and I'm going to run the deep thread one. All right. Now, okay. All right. Another way to do a research, we've already seen we can use tools like, Power Smarties, I think, yeah, AI Smarties, Power Drill and all. And they will also give you, okay, now before GPTs start running this deep research, it asks me certain questions, right? Do you have a tentative name or concept? We can call it as let's say Zelato. I don't know, it's a random name. Would you prefer the research to center on food delivery? Yes, around food delivery. Third is, are you planning to launch in metro cities? Yes, metro cities only for now for concept testing. The next is, are you planning to launch in? Okay, third is done. Is there any specific time frame you're looking to understand? Like, yeah, I think the recent last 1 to 2 years would be better, and would also love to consider emerging future trends in food delivery, right? In food delivery. Now, let's see what it does. I've already given Perplexity is not a base LLM. Okay. Great. I'll begin with the deep research. Now you could see that it's doing all that research. If you click on it, just give it some time. It will also lay down all the steps that one can follow end to end, right? So let it do that research. Parallelly, if you want to do in food tech, right, you can again go to this and I can start a new chat, right? Okay, not in this tool. I think AI Smart is the one for that. Yeah. Okay, it's loading up. While GPT is doing that research, I'll also ask it to do a research on food tech. Okay, I'm trying to build, or I'm trying to identify potential opportunities in food tech space, right? And want to understand how competitors are planning their next couple of quarters, where the gaps are, and where we could fit in. Awesome. Let's do it. Parallel let it work as well. You can also see that now GPT will take a little bit of time, right? You can see that, okay, it has done all that. So it is also telling, okay, I'm digging into food tech ecosystem details, focusing on Gen Z preferences, UX, top complaints, evaluating, right? So this is the ideation and a product discovery stage, right? Where I'm using multiple tools to kind of, save my time. And it is also showing you what all resources it has, looked into so far, right? And it is also giving you that entire mind map, right? How it is going. It's reading through different programs. Parallelly, if you look into food tech, this is also doing certain works, right? So let it work, right? It's relatively faster, but its responses would be quite crisp, I believe. Let it generate as well. Okay, but it has given like a lot of these documents. Okay, it gave me the Japan food tech insight. I think in this we should have also summarized, because we have not defined the area, right? So that's one thing always keep in mind, right? So it has given the decent insight about market landscape, growth drivers, and all, but it's not too much in depth, right? Just looked into a bunch of articles, but it's like, not that in depth, but we can still get a quick sneak peek in terms of what this industry, what kind of challenges it is facing now. And let's quickly go to GPT. It's going to take a couple of probably I think 1 or 2 more minutes, right? In the meantime, we can take a couple of questions if you have it, right? So Ujjwal, can you please type your question in the chat? We'll take it from there. All right, now I'm learning LangChain now. Great, guys. Any questions from anyone? Okay. Awesome. Divya, you can drop your questions in the chat. In the meantime, while it is loading, what I'll do is like I'll try explaining you the next step, right? So that you understand how kind of we are going to move forward, right? So the next step is, once we have done the discovery, then you look for a value proposition as well. Basically, once you have done like a lot of research and all, right? You would also want to define as in what are differentiation, what all kind of USPs you could create in this market, right? Because creating a similar product might not make a difference. In fact, you might not even get 100 users as well, right? So we have to then leverage this discovery that we're going end to end, and then we're going to kind of extract some of the value proposition, and then further we have to create a concept note, right? Because see, while you work as a product manager on new ideas, right, you don't just directly go ahead and take all the calls, right? You go do proper research, you take, I think, a lot of meaningful output from it, and after that what you do is like you also kind of talk to, I think, a lot of managers, senior folks, right? You convince them, right? So that is the path that we're going to follow, right? So let me see if we can fast track this. It has done this. If I stop it, I don't know what it is going to do. It's taking a lot of time. Okay, now let me click on this. What I'll do. Starting now will still count as one refresh record. You have 4 more. Okay, don't stop. Okay, let's stop it now and let's run this only as because it's going to take a lot of time, and we have to also cover. But I think you have understood, because if it's doing research, it's literally looking at like a lot of information that it has available with it, right? So we're just going to we've given it more of a normal prompt for it to kind of scout over the internet and give us something, right? Now, let's go to the next prompt that we are going to look into. It is about defining the value proposition, right? So now let's look into that. I'm going to also drop that prompt in the chat while GPT is giving us the output, right? So let's wait for it. All right, I'll cover all the questions in the end because we are running a little late on time. So we'll go to GPT, and we have to at least give it this much time to complete this prompt. Otherwise, because all the future prompts that I have created, they would not be making sense if we don't have the output from the previous one. Okay. Now let's wait for it to generate. Okay. Can you share the prompt library? Prompts library we'll be sharing to all the folks who will be sharing their feedback as well, because apart from prompt library, we have like a lot of resources that we promised to everyone. All right. What all technical knowledge will AI PM will be evaluated on? Yeah, I think Meenal, we've covered it. This is applicable to new product discovery. Yeah, you can also use it for existing product, right? I have not given it a product name, right? You can also mention competitors. You can also cite certain resources as well, right? All right, now let me click on skip. Okay. It's not, okay, it's given something. It's a compiled research for Zelato. Okay. So now you can look into it, right? It has given Gen Z feels cheated by hidden charges. Okay, that's like, why is my 180 rupees biryani costing 320 rupees with fees, right? It's a Play Store review it looked into. Swiggy steals discounts from restaurants and overcharges users, right? These are the Gen Z problems. Gen Z loves subscriptions, but churns quickly. There's another problem. Delivery reliability is a deal breaker because you promise 20 minutes, but the food comes in 60 minutes. Like, not a good experience, right? UX expectations. They want a playful, snackable, or a kind of more of a socially interactive, UI user experience. Plus, food discovery is broken because a lot of users still end up spending like 15 to 20 minutes in figuring out what they want to eat. So yeah, this is like a bunch of discovery pointers it has done, right? Now I'll go ahead and I will use this value proposition prompt, which I'll also explain it to you what it is. So, okay. Now you are defining the core product strategy and emotional positioning for a modern Indian food tech product. Okay. And what task is your goal is to sharpen how the product builds emotional trust, functional value, and brand differentiation so that team can design a standout product and go to market positioning, right? So you have to also carve out and craft the value proposition as well, right? So I think it has also given. So I think strategic product pillars could look like radical transparency, food that knows you, kind of AI personalization, everyday affordability and rewards. Basically, every time you're ordering, you don't have to let's end up paying 500 when you have, let's say, a pocket limit of 100 or 150 rupees, right? Community and credible food voices, kind of more of creator focused features and all. That's quite interesting, right? So this is something based on our discovery, right? We've already got like decent value proposition. Once you've understood the value proposition, the next stage that you would rely on is concept note, right? You have to create a concept note. Concept note is nothing but, let me also go for this. Yeah, concept note is nothing but a one-pager document, which helps you present your idea in like very crisp manner to your stakeholders and management, right? So now we're going to look into that. So let it work on it. And okay, I think amazing chat interaction and engagement by a lot of you. Thank you for that. All right. Okay. All right. Now I think we have the concept note ready as well, right? Which is kind of mentioning here's a crisp concept note for your food tech products. So Zelato concept note, right? So this is what it is. Key problems we want to solve, how Zelato solves it, why now, why we need to do basically work on it now, role of AI, how AI would help solve a lot of problem. Basically, this is where this is the step wherein you invite or involve AI into your product strategy. MVP feature ideas it has also given, and success metrics as well, right? But do you share this one-pager document to your stakeholders? I think you don't do that, right? You give them a detailed presentation, right? So now what we're going to do is now I have a detailed prompt which would help you create awesome presentation on Gamma. So what I'm going to ask is like, hey, can you give me all this, or can you look into all the previous information and give me a prompt which I could run on Gamma.app so that I can create it into an awesome presentation, right? Parallelly, let me also open Gamma.app. Okay, I've opened this and create new. So what basically you have to do it is like, yeah, I'll just open it in a moment. So you could see that I have this prompt. Okay, it had the free plan limit. That's okay. So I'll just go ahead and I'll copy paste this. I'll go to Gamma. I'll create from notes, outlines, generate, create from one line prompt in a few seconds. Let's click here. Here's I'm going to drop our prompt, and I'm just going to do this. And I am going to also modify this, remove this part. I'm going to click on edit prompt. Now it is update to +2. Okay, it is only creating in one card. Just give me 1 second. Freeform card begin. Okay, now it is into a different slide format, right? So basically what I have done, I'll quickly explain it to everyone. I have created this prompt, right? Now I have gone to Gamma.app on, okay, I'll go it from scratch because I think I was not sharing my screen. So I'll go to the home page. This is the home page you'll see. From here, you have to click on create new. From here, you can click on generate. And this is where you can type your prompt, right? And I'll just remove these GPT fillers and also remove this for Zelato. And I'll also remove this and I'll just ask it to do this, right? Now let it generate. Okay, and this is what our slide by slide card details looks like. And I'll just remove this part. Okay, and I'll ask it to generate. Yeah, because see, once you have a certain idea that you want to work upon, right? You have done a end-to-end kind of a research discovery. You've done a lot of definition or understood, what the market wants, how the market is growing as well, right? Even beyond it, you also want to further go ahead and kind of present it to your stakeholders as well, right? Now let's see what it is doing. Yeah, you could see that, right? Now let it work and build upon it. Demographics, I'll let it finish all the things. All right. All right. Okay. Could see that our deck is ready. So you could see that. Now let's go to present it. And future of food ordering in India, right? So, this is what I was saying, like, you're able to change your entire stakeholder dynamics, right? Just imagine if you had been doing this as a traditional, product manager's job, right? It would have at least taken 2 to 3 days I would say, at a machine speed doing this. And of course, this you can't do it in 2 hours, because I'm right now doing pump and dump, right? I'm not trying to make a lot of sense or make a lot of sense in terms of what the outputs GPT is giving. But when I'm working in a proper product setting and all, I would read every line of text and I'll give it a feedback to make changes and all. I'll also give it a lot of my data as well to make sense of things, right? Now look into this, right? It's feature of food ordering, Zomato making food ordering smarter for Gen Z India. So it's a persona it also has created, super amazing. Triple problem plaguing food delivery, hidden cost crisis, generic experience, manipulative marketing, okay? A target India's digital first generation, right? And super massive market opportunity, right? And competitive landscape analysis like Swiggy and Zomato, Blinkit and quick commerce, and the Zolato's sweet spot, transparent, personalized, Gen Z focused platform that builds trust through honesty and delivers joy through smart AI recommendations, right? One solution, okay? Yeah, I am not presenting this to all of you, but I'm showing, right, what all the AI was able to do with our roadmap in just like what 15 to 20 minutes, right? Now we'll take. Is there any term like product marketing managers? Yes, of course. This is a known term. This is not like you've search for a product marketing manager's job is, let's say you built a product, right? And then as a product manager, you'll be focusing on, let's say, campaigns, awareness, acquisitions, social media marketing, Google ads, performance marketing. The domain is like vast, okay. How to make ourselves get well prepared for PMMS upskilling? You tell us if there's any better way, to ensure that you are, you are able to upskill yourself in terms of what the industry is expecting, right? Okay. After value proposition, do I need start creating Gamma PPT? After value proposition, you go ahead, create a concept note. From a concept note, then you created the PPT. Your concept note is something which puts all of your research in a very crisp format. I think, Swali, you are from the cohort, right? We have basically built these concept notes hands-on, right? So you understand the importance of it, right? Okay. How about product design? Okay, I have not heard this term, Vivek, sorry. I guess they might be doing design, but yeah, I'm not trying to guess, but I've not heard product design manager. Okay. Sharing business docs, CTO, okay, product discovery, no questions, looks like. We're good. Okay. Wazir, difference between product, program, project, and not in the scope right now. Wazir, I think you can also do GPT, will give you better answers faster. Okay. Can you summarize the steps you have taken to create a deck? Okay, I'll summarize that for everyone. Okay, I'll share my screen again. All right. You could see my screen, right? Could go here, right? First, I've done finding ideas, then I've run a extensive discovery prompt. Discovery prompt basically helped me explore the entire landscape. I've looked into the habits of users. I've looked into how competition is doing, right? I've also tried identifying future emerging trends. What are the challenges with Gen Zs and all? And then from there, we have created a value proposition. We've tried making sense of that entire discovery in terms of, okay, where the sweet spot is, right? Once you've done that, once you have kind of gone through the value proposition step, then you create a concept note, right? And this concept note is for you to convince your stakeholders or managers as well, right? And once you have done this, of course, you don't go ahead and mail them the kind of your one pager, right? It doesn't sound professional, right? So the next step is like you create a presentation, right? From this kind of concept note, you run this prompt to GPT, and then it'll give you a gamma.app compatible prompt, and then you copy paste it and then go to this platform, which is here, and you can kind of create a prompt like this entire deck. You can also do like a lot of customizations here as well. This is not showing here, but I think it does. You can also change like themes as well. You can also quickly go from this theme to this theme, whatever is making sense, right? You can also do a lot of customizations, whatever is kind of making sense for you, right? So yeah, you can do it, right? This is what AI could do, right? In a fastest time, right? I hope this is making sense. Yeah. Okay, I think let's move ahead and let's go for the final couple of steps as well. Once you have gone through the concept node, the next step is to create a PRD, right? And creating a PRD, I'm trying to assume I'm copy pasting my PRD prompt from my prompt library, right? And then I'm going to this GPT and I'm kind of pasting it here. While parallelly it is running, I'll also explain you what this entire prompt is, right? And because see, once your idea is approved by senior management, right, what is the next step? Next step is like you start working on it, you start implementing it, right? So what you do here is like you create a PRD, and that is where we go ahead and take it to Lovable, Bolt, or different platforms. We can do multiple parallel prototyping as well. And but before going to, let's say, these platforms and all, we are going to work on design aspect, right? So let's do that. Okay, I think it asked me certain questions. Let me answer this. First question is, should the product focus only on restaurant food delivery or okay, I think we can focus on the features recommended in concept note as part of MVP roadmap. You can find it in previous threads, right? And next is, do you want AI personalized recommendation? Yeah, not now, probably for future phases once we start seeing some adoptions. Third one is, for payments, should we assume basic? Yeah, let's go ahead with, let's move with cash on delivery right now. Okay, now let it build the PRD. And after PRD, right? Okay. Now let it build it. And in the meantime, I'm looking into other chat questions as well. Awesome. All right. Okay, when you're working on org setup, are you allowed to put the company details? There are different apps that you could use in your own ecosystem. You can also work with open source LLMs, which are just running within your company ecosystem and environments, right? Awesome. So now we have this entire end-to-end PRD, right? Now what I'll ask is, okay, so I want to create end-to-end user flow to give to my designer. Can you pick one of the primary feature and give me a detailed user flow to start creating the wireframes? Start creating the wireframes right now. Okay. So now it is going to do this, right? And I'll tell you where I'm going to use this as well, right? Okay. I'm going to use another tool. I'm going to open that Grizzly. So this is here. I'm logging into this. I'll share the URL with everyone. All these tools we are using and everything, we will be sharing with all of you as we go along, right? So I hope my screen is visible. Okay, I think you can't see it now. Yeah. You could see that, right? GPT has, I've just asked it to go for one. Okay, I'm going to use Grizzly for creating wireframes. Can you, okay, Grizzly ka main URL I also put. I'll go to GPT once and okay. Can you ensure this prompt is platform compatible? All right, now let it. All right, now it is doing this. We detail screen. Okay, this is, oh, this is like relatively more short than the previous ones, but okay, let's run this right now. I'm going to copy paste this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click here. Okay, I'll explain this platform as well quickly. I'll go back. Okay, once I have a pro account on this, because I also use it like for my product development and product space as well. So I create like a lot of designs here, prep all these things. Okay, so now I'll go ahead with click on the start generating with AI. I'll copy paste my. It gives a context window of like 4,000, I think, characters. Yeah, 4,000 characters. I'll go ahead and give it a. Now let's let it think what it's doing. Okay, now it's starting to make sense of all this information. All right. Yes, why would they know? See, Manik, it's not about they considering. You don't have to create a, let's say, uh, kind of some kind of positioning where AI generator is bad. No, it's not that. You're not going to pump and dump, right? You're not going to just directly take the output of GPT and put it there. No, you're going to interact with it, right? You're just going to use it faster for execution purpose. You're not going to just rely on it for it to do blind stuff, right? For that, why would you need a product manager, right? You can literally train anyone to do it, and it'll just do that, right? So now, okay, now it's generating 6 screens. I think I have given like 6 screens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, so it's generating 6 screens. Now let it generate, and this is where you'll also see that, okay, how we are moving into, let's say, how roles like designers, design roles, and quality analyst and product analyst, business analyst, right? These roles are quite in danger, or they would evolve drastically as we go along, right? So let it generate, and yeah, and after that, we are going to take questions, right? All right, all right, all right. Let it generate. I'll share with you. Let it generate completely. Okay. It's taking a little bit of time. That's okay. Hi, Sheetal. You're mentioning my name. My voice is lagging. Okay. All right. How are UX going to turn up into a product PM role? Okay. Now I think it's taking. I'll ask it to generate again. Right. Let it generate. Let's wait for, yeah. Generally, it doesn't take this much time, but probably let's wait for it. In the meantime, I can show you the other designs that I've created using this. I think that's one in food tech only while it is generating. So I'm opening this and I'm opening one more. Okay. We'll look into this that I've generated earlier. Yeah, this was like something related to health only, right? So this is what AI could do, let's say in minutes, which probably designer might take with all the respect to the work and efforts, right? It has created this end-to-end, proper homepage, right? On mobile, right? Look at the flexible ordering options, ingredient options, right? And it's giving like multiple feature sets and all, right? This is, this is how like, AI potential is evolving with time as well, right? For some reason, this is failing, but we can still look into the screens that it has already generated, right? Look into this, right? I would have given more, I would say, specific instructions in terms of it dealing with Indian audience, but that's okay. It's still giving us something, right? Which is like not something which is meaningful. It's showing all the dishes and all, right? The entire design is ready. And then you can also look into your checkout page as well, right? Look into this page, which is like, you can add items and all. It might not work right now, but could see that, right? You can also do a group order, invite your friends, eco-friendly packaging, all those things, right? And the order confirmation screen and all, right? So this is what you could create. For some reason, I think it is failing, probably because of number of tokens it is required to design it right now. But I hope you could see that, if you're giving a proper detailed prompt, you would be able to kind of, end-to-end, create this as well, right? Awesome. So any questions from anyone? So I think for today, we'll not extend it further.